jump into a different litter here. These would be the 10s. This would be a repeat mating from the spring. We would have sold a set of hogs online there in our first online sale. The very popular litter. These would be Temptation, Lock It Up, Steel Force. Their mother would have come from Heimer out of the Build a Brand sale. Temptation was at Crossroads Genetics there, and is I believe, a My Intentions, King of the Hill, Kiss My Hawks. That Beck would have bought there at the Coalition Pig Sale from Leatherman. So lot 13 and lot 14 here. 10-1 would be the gilt that does not want to pull, and dash 4 would be lot 14. That would be the black-legged male.
Yeah, yeah, the gilt just doesn't want to cooperate. Interesting color pattern in terms of how she's chromed up. A very dense animal here again. I mean, they usually are up here. Round-bodied, big legs, moderate size. I mean, she's probably not just going to get out here and do what we'd like her to do in terms of, well, maybe I spoke too soon. But I think a good animal. I think an animal that can fit a market hog show if you want her to, or an animal that still has enough capacity and enough broodiness to her to fit a breeding gilt show in that regard. So I think a gilt that's not necessarily going to cooperate here the best today, but when she does, when she kind of cocks off here, she's a pretty good animal. So if we go over to the barrow or the boar pig that doesn't know if he wants to be black or white on which side, that is an interesting marked hog. I don't think I've ever seen a hog with black legs on one side and white on the other, but I tell you what, this is a dang good animal right here, and he will be a memorable animal, not only for the way he's assembled, but for the way he's marked. I mean, he's cooperating, and you're going to get a good view of him right there. I mean, his build and balance and proportions, the way that tail sits up on the top of his hip and where his head and neck rise out of his blade. I mean, he's probably not for the faint of heart as you crawl around behind him, but he's still square and within himself. I mean, looks like a hog that's going to need to roll maybe just a little slower, but ooh, man, there's an awful lot of good in that thing right there, and he is a sharp-looking one, that's for sure.
Yeah, those Temptations were so cool there this spring. We went ahead and had a repeat mating there. Actually, probably one of the favorite male pigs that we've ever made come out of that litter. So there was only one in that particular litter, so we tried to jump back in and use them again. But there's 4 of them that we're going to go ahead and offer here, and this one's darn sure memorable. Brett hit it right on the head, obviously from a color pattern standpoint. But, I mean, just read that thing's skull and how he reads out of the top side of his shoulder and how he hooks up. That's a short-backed one that still proportions extremely well from the side. He's got a stout rear leg and a big rear foot. And like Brett said, one that, you're probably going to have to roll a little slower there in the early stages of his life. But I think everything's still square and still right, and he pushes, and his flexibility is darn sure on point. One that you're definitely not going to get short of not getting a look. So basically, lot 13, 10-1 will be the chromed up one, and then the black and white legged one there, 10-4 will be lot 14.
Yeah, just real quick here before you shut it off, Rhonda, the more I've got to kind of study these things, I mean, what's still so unique about the boar pig is, for as stout as he is and as much as he is packing, his hip is long. I mean, it's real long and square, and I think we get some of these things that get a little round in their hip and muscle pattern. But watch that hog's length of step and his security of step. I think you need to look in right here, because this one looks like a very high end kind of a show barrow to me.